Rational exponents and roots are related. The exponents that are fractions or that can be written as fractions are going to tell you what type of root to take for your base number, the number underneath the exponent. And just to clarify, a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. So for example, 1.5, that exponent can be written as 3/2. Now the denominator of your fraction tells you what type of root. So this would be a square root of x. Then the numerator, you would raise your answer then, to the numerator. We don't normally write a 2 for square root. It's usually just like that. If we had cube root, let's say we had a 1/3. This would mean take the cube root and raise it to the first power. Now we don't normally write 1 for raising it to the first power, so x raised to the 1/3 is just the cube root. When you're doing problems like these, it's really helpful to have a sheet, a little cheat sheet of perfect squares and perfect cubes nearby to help you. Now, if you don't have a little cheat sheet, grab one off the internet. That's where I got this guy. If you don't have the internet, I don't know how you're watching this video, but you could just use a calculator to guess and check your perfect cubes and squares if you don't have them memorized. Here's an example. I have the cube root of 343 raised to the second power. If I'm asked to rewrite this as a rational exponent, this would be 343 to the 2 over 3. So it'd be raised to the 2/3. Now, most people do not find this to be a useful way to simplify. If you're going to simplify it, most people are going to want to keep it in this form or convert this guy to that form and then simplify this. Is 343 a perfect cube? Well, I'm not sure. Let's go look at our little cheat sheet here. And here is 343. It is 7 cubed, which means that the cube root of 343 is 7. So I've just done this part right here. Now I still need to raise it to the second power. And 7 squared is 49. So these are all equivalent. The same piece of clay, just written differently. Let's look at 100 raised to the 3/2. So the denominator is going to tell me I have a square root, but you don't normally write the little 2. We're not used to it. That's fine. So square root of 100, and then I'm raising it to the third power. So the square root of 100, if you're not sure, you can look over at your chart. You see 100 is 10 squared. That means that 10 is the square root of 100. I still need to cube that, and 10 cubed is 1,000. And there's your final answer there. That's fully simplified. If you're given the square root of 144 cubed, you look up, what is the square root of 144? It is 12. So then we write down 12, and then it's still going to be cubed. So then I have to think about what is 12 cubed, or I look it up over here. It's 1,728. Write my equal signs. And that's fully simplified. Last one, you have 1,331 raised to the 4/3. And that seems daunting, but this means we have the third root of 1,331. Then we're going to raise it to the 4th power. So I look up the cube root of 131, here it is, 1,331. The cube root of it would be 11. So I have 11 raised to the fourth power. Now, I don't know what 11 raised to the fourth power is off the top of my head, so I'm going to use my calculator. 11 raised to the 4 is a big number. It's 14,641, and that is fully simplified. The moral of the story is your denominator in your fraction will tell you what type of root you are taking. The numerator will then tell you to what exponent you need to raise it to later. It's super, super helpful to have your cheat sheet of perfect squares and perfect cubes handy when you take these quizzes and do these problems.